sports complex. So many have so many questions about how this could have happened. One hostage shot to death, one injured, and a CHP's officer wounded. Countless others terrorized by what happened yesterday afternoon. Retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent and Certified FBI Crisis Manager Glenn Norling of Train Be Ready Consulting in the Active Shooter Prevention Project with me now live. Glenn, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on today.
Definitely. You're a certified FBI crisis manager, a supervisory agent at the FBI's Critical Incident Resource Group at Quantico, an FBI faculty member. We hear all the time that one of the most dangerous things an officer can do when it comes to putting their lives at risk is, for instance, make a traffic stop. What we know about this incident yesterday is that a CHP officer was serving an arrest warrant in a public place at a huge park. How dangerous is it attempting something like that in that kind of place?
Of course, certainly it's a very dangerous proposition. And again, you don't know a lot of the things. You don't know what's going to evolve. So certainly, no nothing against the law enforcement to trying to do their job. It's a very difficult job all the time. But one of the things that I think an incident like that points out is we all have that tendency to kind of live in a bit of a bubble, I'll say, ourselves. We always like to think that it's not going to happen here. It's not something that we're going to have to deal with. And unfortunately, that is just not the case in this day and age. So there is a significant lessons to be learned here regarding situational awareness, mindset, and having a plan in advance. You know, we never think it's going to happen to the great places we are, the great places we spend time. And everybody does need to have a plan, because you never know when something like this can intrude into what you're doing on a day-to-day basis.
According to the U.S. Secret Service National Threat Assessment Center, 35% of mass shootings happen in open spaces. This tragedy may be just under the definition of a mass shooting, but in terms of approaching a potential mass shooting scene in a setting like a big park or sports complex, what did responding law enforcement need to be thinking about first when they arrived yesterday?
Of course, certainly you have what you know at that point. You know you have an officer that is injured. You have shots that have been fired. You of course have members of the public moving around. You have different entities such as the park right there. You have a school. You have a variety of things. So you need to basically share information about what's happening, so you can have those businesses, schools, everything like that locked down to keep people out of harm's way. And then you have an officer that's been injured. So there's a lot of coordination between law enforcement, emergency medical, and fire to essentially get treatment to people that are wounded, whether it's an officer, whether it's a civilian, and things like that. So there's a lot of those things are really competing interests that we need to try and get as many people out of the way as possible into an area that's safe. And that kind of gets back to the same thing about having that situational awareness. And, you know, we've talked for over 10 years now about run, hide, and fight. So if you recognize something, and that's one of the challenges we have of recognizing a violent incident as it's starting to unfold. We have that natural human tendency to minimize and say, hey, well, maybe that's just fireworks, or maybe those are just paintball guns,
Hmm.
when it's a very obvious incident that we need to get away from if we can.
In terms of what we know about this shooter, you have someone who was walking around armed. Some witnesses said that this person had a dog with them, was kind of jogging along, trying to blend in before taking hostages. What is all that saying to you about this perpetrator?
Well, it's all them. It's their concern is purely themselves at this point. They're in a populated area. They've got a dog. They're looking for opportunities to keep themselves out of law enforcement's grasp, I guess, if you will. So they're not concerned about other people. And then you see, obviously, that's how this incident unfolded. You know, they look for other people that unfortunately were get caught up in the moment, weren't able to get out of there, maybe didn't have a plan, didn't really know what to do. And unfortunately, so many times that's actually the case. They don't really know what to do, where to go, why they should move, and when they should move. And so you have somebody like this who will just take advantage of that situation.
You've trained 20,000 people in active shooter preparedness across Northern California. Most of us think that you don't know when these people are going to do something. So how do you prepare? And there's the misnomer that you've kind of referenced that those kinds of things don't happen where I live. Definitely a mindset we heard referenced in Roseville over and over yesterday. So what's the most important thing to focus on when it comes to preparedness? What is it that you teach people?
Yeah, and there's essentially there's three different things. One is that recognition that can absolutely happen anywhere where you are, whether it's at a park, whether it's at the grocery store, whether it's at the workplace, a shopping mall, anywhere. And so that's the first thing, is to recognize that and kind of internalize that so you can start doing on the next steps, which are developing a survival mindset, recognizing that you might have to face a situation like that you don't want to, and we of course don't want you to have to do that, but recognize that there's things that you can do regardless of what your background is in a situation like that. And that's developing that survival, that positive mindset that I'm going to do everything in my power to get home at the end of the day. And the last part of that is have a plan, and having a plan in advance. So regardless of where you go, look around. What are your exits? What are your resources that you have available to you? Are there fire extinguishers perhaps in commercial space you could use as an improvised weapon? Is there an area where there is two different things we talk about are cover and concealment? Concealment is something that will hide you visually. Cover is something that can protect from a bullet from basically penetrating that surface. So we're always trying to find concealment. We're always trying to head ourselves to cover. So anywhere that you go, when you go to the grocery store, look for a couple exits, look for the fire extinguishers, look for places that have concealment, and ideally places that have cover. And we can apply that in our day-to-day lives. We don't need to look around every corner
Right.
expecting something bad to happen on every corner, but we can be prepared.
And I want to make sure people heard you say survival mindset and positive, not survival mindset and fear. They're very,
Yes,
very different. Thank you so much for your insight this morning.
you're very welcome. Thank you.